Welcome to From Center Ice. My name is Courtney, and what a bad weekend of Blackhawks hockey that we just witnessed. The Hawks were back at home. They took on the Nashville Predators twice in back-to-back games Saturday and Sunday, and they lost both of them. And to make things even worse, the Ice Hogs also played back-to-back Saturday and Sunday and lost both of their games to the Chicago Wolves. It was a weekend of pain and suffering. So, as you can see, I switched the jersey back up, put my Crawford one back on. We're gonna retire that reverse retro Hagel one for a little bit and see if after it gets some rest, maybe it can bring out the good luck again. What can I say? I'm a superstitious person when it comes to hockey. But like I said, the games this weekend were terrible. They lost 3-1 on Saturday night. Kevin Lankinen was in net for that one. They lost 3-2 on Sunday. Malcolm Subban was in net for that one. So no matter the goaltender, they surrendered 3 goals to the Nashville Predators. And at least in Sunday's game, all 3 of those goals were results of Blackhawks errors. The first one went off of Calvin DeHaan's skate. Malcolm Subban didn't have the post completely sealed. It was a fluke. The shot came from behind the net. It was dumb. And it was just one of those moments that you roll your eyes at because Calvin DeHaan has not had a good season at all. So of course it would just go off of his skating into the net. The second one, he was trying to tie up his man in front of the net and it went off of that guy's skate. Originally it looked like DeHaan had kicked that one in too, and I wouldn't have been surprised if that were the case, but apparently it went off of the Predator and into the net. The third goal, Kirby Dach sent a terrible pass to nowhere and it ended up in the back of the net. Because that was a theme this weekend of the Hawks just sending pucks to the middle of the ice in front of their goaltender with no other Blackhawk around. Look, I like to think that I know the game of hockey pretty well. I've been watching it for a while now, but I don't know everything. I get some things wrong here and there. But I don't think that sending the puck to the slot when there's no defender there is a recipe for winning, especially when there is an attacking player there from the other team, because then they're just one-on-one with your goaltender with nobody around to help them. And no matter how good your goaltender is, yeah, maybe he'll stop some of those, but he's not going to stop all of them, so you cannot do it multiple times in one weekend. But they did, and the majority of the time it ended up in the back of their net. But yes, I did mention the name Kirby Dach. So if you saw my last video, or if you've watched the games this weekend, or just kept up with any Blackhawks news in general, by now you know that Kirby Dach is back in the lineup after breaking his wrist in December. None of us really knew when he was going to be back. We hoped it would be before the end of the year, because if the Hawks don't make the playoffs, then it's nice to see him get some games in. If they do make the playoffs, that's basically like a trade deadline acquisition. They were in a playoff spot before this weekend, but Nashville jumped over them by beating the Hawks twice in a row, so now they are in that final spot and the Hawks are out. There's still plenty of games left to be played, but these 2 games this weekend were pretty important if the Hawks want to eventually make it into the playoffs this year. Anywho, Kirby Dach is back. He looked good. In Saturday's game, you could even argue that he looked great. We'll put an asterisk on that and say great for somebody who hasn't played a game of hockey since December and is recovering from a broken wrist. He said he's not back to 100%, he still feels a little discomfort, but also mentioned that it didn't make sense for him to sit out any longer. So when you add all of those factors together, on Saturday he looked great. On Sunday he looked good. If he hadn't had that terrible turnover, maybe you could bump that up to great. But that did happen, and you have to subtract that from his game, even though you can't really fault him for it too hard because, again, he hasn't played. The rest of the team has been playing since January. He's been sitting out and recovering. It takes a while to get back into game shape. It takes a while to get that timing back. So while it is sort of excusable, you still have to knock it from his game performance overall. Sorry, Curbs. As I mentioned in the video from this weekend, it is very encouraging to see that he was able to come back and still be very effective on the ice. He was winning board battles. He won some face-offs. I personally didn't think he was going to be taking any face-offs because your hands and wrists can get whacked at when trying to win them, but he got in there. He won a couple of them. He was shooting the puck. He wasn't shying away from contact. That is all very good. Now we just have to hope that he doesn't face any setbacks, because that would be very not good. Speaking of not good, that would be the rest of the team this weekend. I don't know that anybody really did look good outside of Kirby. I know Hagel had a few good chances, a few good rushes. He's always just going 100% all the time. I don't think that's coming from a biased view. Of course, I do really like Brandon Hagel. He's probably my favorite player this season, but by all accounts, he is one of those guys who just has decent games every time he goes out there. Alex DeBrincat did turn it on a little bit in Sunday's game. He got the 2 goals for the Hawks, the last one being on a beautiful rush all by himself, just darting into the zone, cutting to the center, and tucking it around Pecorine. I don't know about you, but I was just hoping beyond hope that he would be able to get the hat trick and tie the game up again. That was the game-tying goal. Nashville came back and scored again to take the 3-2 lead, and with the goaltender pulled, the Hawks could not score another goal to tie it up. They did have some good looks, but overall this weekend they were suffering from overpassing and not shooting when they should have. And that is just so frustrating to watch. Because yes, when they do connect on those passing plays, and pretty passing plays, it looks great. It's fun to watch. Of course, you can tell the guys out there are having fun doing it. But when those plays aren't available or they're not working and they just get shut down by the defense, it's frustrating to watch them try to force passes and just turn the puck over all the time and not even get shots at the net. At some point during the 60 minutes, you have to realize that that is not working and then just play simple hockey. Get the puck to the net. You never know what could happen. For example, the first goal of the game on Sunday, again, going off of Calvin DeHaan's skate from a shot behind the net. You just never know. Of course, that wasn't a shot on goal, but it ended up being in the back of the goal. So if you are actually trying to get the puck toward the net, maybe some good things could happen for you. But with so many skilled and talented players on this team, sometimes they just really suffer from that overpassing bug. Hopefully they get over it by tonight. They take on the Carolina Hurricanes. It is finally the end of the hellacious month that has been March for the Blackhawks, and they don't get to end it with an easy opponent. This month they've faced Tampa, they've faced Florida, they've faced Dallas, Nashville, and now Carolina. They have 4 wins out of all of the games they played. In the last series against the Florida Panthers, they surprised everybody and took both of those games. The first one being a 3-2 win, the second one being a 3-0 shutout. They definitely took advantage of the Panthers not having Barkov in the lineup. Oh, and I don't know if you saw it, but this weekend Aaron Ekblad, defenseman for the Florida Panthers, had a terrible injury. He had surgery to repair his knee, so he is out for the rest of the year. As much as I've hated watching the Hawks play either Florida team this year, you never want to see something like that. He was having a great season, and if you saw the video, you know how hard it was to watch. Just legs shouldn't move that way, and he was in so much pain on the ice. It was just, it was heartbreaking to watch, really. If you haven't seen the video, I wouldn't recommend watching it. It's not one of the more gruesome hockey injury videos that we've seen out there in the last little while, but it was still pretty bad, and it just sucks seeing a guy down on the ice like that. But that was a tangent. The Hawks don't see Florida till the end of April, so they don't really matter right now. Next up, like I said, is the Carolina Hurricanes, and this is a team that has also given the Blackhawks fits all year. They're fast, they're skilled, they seem to be able to just score at will at times. When they're not playing the Hawks, they're a very fun team to watch. When they are playing the Blackhawks, they're a very frustrating team to watch. So here are my 3 questions heading into tonight's game against the Carolina Hurricanes. Question 1, will the Blackhawks be ready for the start of the game? This was definitely an issue on Saturday. The Hawks just did not look like they were ready to play the game at all. They looked like they were still at home in their minds. They weren't shooting the puck. They weren't really doing a whole lot of anything. So will we see a better start from them tonight where it looks like they're actually prepared and ready to play this game? I sure hope so. Question 2, can they get out of their own way? Again, we had a couple of pucks end up in the back of our net by going off of our own defenders. I believe I mentioned this in a video earlier this season, but it feels like the Hawks have this happen more than any other team in the league. Of course, I can't watch every game that happens every night, but I do turn on NHL Network most nights at least and see the highlights from all the games, and it just really doesn't seem like any other team has this happen as much as the Blackhawks do. If there is somebody out there keeping track of this statistic for all 31 teams in the league, I would be very interested in seeing it. Anywho, can the players get out of their own way? Whether that being not deflecting pucks past their own goaltender, or whether that being just not passing the puck to the center of the ice when none of their teammates are there. That's more so their mental mistakes getting in their own way rather than physically, but either way, it always ends up bad for them. Can they just make this one easy on their goalie for once? I'm sure Kevin would really appreciate it, seeing as he is back in net tonight. Question 3. Will Alex DeBrincat continue shooting the puck? You heard me talking about overpassing and trying to force passes. This has especially plagued number 12. We all know he has one of the most lethal shots on the team. Austin Matthews is the leading goal scorer in the NHL right now with 23 goals. Alex DeBrincat has 18. Connor McDavid has 21 goals. Only 3 more than Alex DeBrincat. When he shoots the puck, good things happen. He just suffers from overpassing sometimes and trying to defer to Patrick Kane. Of course, sometimes that seems like a no-brainer. You're on the same line with Patrick freaking Kane. If you get him the puck, there's a good chance things are going to happen. But sometimes he's just not on his game and you can't just defer to him all the time, especially when you're Alex DeBrincat. You have one of the better shots on the team. You have one of the better shots in the league. You just have to use it. He got those 2 goals on Sunday, so can he carry that into tonight's game and shoot the puck more and hopefully score some goals? We can hope so. Those are my 3 questions for tonight's game. Do you have any questions heading into this game? Any observations from this season as a whole? I would love to hear them. Please leave them in the comments down below. If you want to hear more from me or from Center Ice, you can head over to FromCenterIce.com, check out the latest podcast episodes, game previews for the Hawks, recaps for the Ice Hogs, and some other fun stuff. Jacqueline and I are recording another podcast episode tonight, so you can look forward to that within the next few days. If you're a social media person, you can follow us on all of the social media platforms. Those links are all in the description. There's also links to them on the website, so if you just go to FromCenterIce.com, you can get access to everything. All of that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I very much appreciate it. Thank you for suffering along with me with this team this year and with the Ice Hogs if you watch those videos too. Let's hope for a good game tonight. Let's hope for a bounce back win from the Hawks, and I will see you after this one. Bye guys.